Hey guys, today I've got my hands on the Apple Watch Series 7, and in this video we are going to be unboxing it and taking a first look and also comparing it to the Series 5, and this should be everything you need to know on the Apple Watch Series 7. So the model I have here for us to take a look at is the green aluminum case with the Clover Sport Band. So this is a new color this year, and this isn't particularly the one I'm wanting to end up with. That would actually be the Space Black Titanium, just because that sapphire crystal is a must for me and I wanted something the same or more premium than the stainless steel I have now. So I did order that at the same time as this, it won't show up for a few more weeks. But this is what was available for launch day, which is October 15th, and pre-order day was kind of annoying because there wasn't really a whole lot to choose from, and even most of the default configurations weren't available, like with the solo loop and such. So this is just the regular sport band. So let's go ahead and crack into this box. It looks fairly similar to years prior. Can't tell, this is definitely slimmed down over the stainless steel Apple Watch, since the band is boxed separately. So I think this is still the same as it is for the aluminum models. But we have the same familiar and wonderful unboxing experience. I think we've got some new styles shown, maybe. Actually looks like, so yeah, the band is still boxed separately. So what they've done, I guess, is slim down this whole box, and that means the charging brick is no longer included, but I think that was also the case with Series 6. Let's first go ahead and start taking a look at the case. I actually got two tabs there, and then it should come apart. And we do have a color matching little sleeve. Let's get a closer look at that. And on the back, it should say 45 millimeters. So there are new sizes this year, and it's just a slight difference. So before with Series 4, 5, 6, and SE, we had 41 or 40 and 44 millimeters, and now they've just been slightly bumped up to 41 and 45. And what that means, I can power this on here. So what this is going to mean is that the watch case itself is just going to be an inch taller on the 45 millimeter, or I'm sorry, a millimeter taller, not an inch, for the 45. So before, obviously, it was 44 millimeters in height. Now it's 45 millimeters. So it should be the same width, but then on the 41 millimeter, it is going to be a millimeter taller and wider. So 41 versus 40 millimeters, and then I'm not sure on the width, but it's just a millimeter wider on the 41 millimeter. So not a huge difference, but we do have now 20% more screen area. So let's add a new Apple Watch here. We're just going to use the same setup process as always. All right. So let's see what we've got. Says Series 7. Where does it say that? Oh, I guess it just says 45 millimeter aluminum case designed by Apple California. Let's take a look at this new green color. So you can see it's nice and dark. You can already see that new screen wraparound effect that we're getting. Looks really, really nice. You can see, I'm going to take the Series 5 off. Most of the things we're going to be comparing on these two should apply to the Series 4, 5, 6, and SE, at least in terms of the screen size and all that. Obviously, in a lot of cases, since most of the interface is black, you're not really going to be able to tell that the screen is larger. Once we get this set up and out of this mode, we will be able to actually show you. But for now, at least, you can see if well, that's good enough. You can see that wraparound effect that we did not have before, and overall the design is just a little more curved. You can see if we flip this around, the speaker, rather than having two cutouts, has just one large cutout. Alright, so one of the new things on Series 7 is there's two larger text sizes. So if we look at the Series 5 here, so the default size is 4, and then we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, yeah, so I'm not seeing that actually work yet, so it might just be a bug with the setup screen, but there are supposed to be two text sizes above the largest size, what was previously the largest size. Blood oxygen obviously was introduced on the Series 6, but it'll be new for me since I had the Series 5. Yeah, I can already tell the larger screen. It might not come across really on camera, but let me take this out here. Let's look at all of the different angles. Let me get these oriented. So cellular models will still have that red ring around the digital crown. Everything else looks very, very similar other than that speaker cutout. One other thing to note is that in addition to being 50 meters water resistant, the Series 7 is now IP6X dust resistant rated, and also the front crystal is 2 times thicker at its thickest point, so this should be the most durable Apple Watch ever made. It kind of throws me off when they say crystal, even though the aluminum models still have the Ion-X strengthened glass, but I think it still does apply that it is 2 times thicker on all models. Other new features is going to include a full Qwerty keyboard, taking advantage of that larger screen. You can fit about 50% more text on the screen. Charging will be faster, so previously I think Series 5 takes 1.5 hours to get to 80%, and then 2.5 hours, 2 or 2.5, I'm not sure, to get all the way to 100. And then Series 6 was 1 hour to 80, and then 1.5 hours to 100. Now a Series 7, it's 45 to 80%, and then I don't know if they've actually published how long it takes to fully charge, but probably somewhere around 1 hour, hour and 15. And 8 minutes of charging is good for 8 hours of sleep tracking. Looking at the back of our two watches, you can see obviously we have the added blood oxygen sensor on Series 7, but that also applies to Series 6. Other than that, it's very similar. I'm not sure if they made these letters easier to see or if it's just because it's newer. Something Apple didn't really talk about is that the Series 7 also now features an S7 chip. However, looking at the specs, it's not going to be any faster than the S6 chip that was used in Series 6. It still says that that's 20% faster than the Apple Watch SE, which uses this S5 chip, which is the same as the Series 5. Series 6 also claimed to be 20% faster than that chip, so I'm not really sure what is different about the S7 chip. Going from the S4 to the S5 chip, there was no performance bump. However, it did add the compass, the magnetometer, but as far as between the S6 and the S7, it could honestly be the same exact chip, just rebranded. I wouldn't even be surprised. So while this is still syncing, I'm not sure if it's going to try to restore or what, but we should go ahead and open our band. So as discussed earlier, this is the Clover Sport Band, which is kind of a medium green. I'm actually surprised that they didn't show or didn't sell the Series 7, the green aluminum, with the Cypress green band, because I feel like that would have matched the case a little better. Alright, pulling this out here. Alright, we have our two sizes here. So it will come with either the medium to large or the small to medium. Pull this out. Shows instructions on how to install it, and then I feel like this is new. Just talking about watch faces. So let's go ahead and slide on our band. Again, I think I'm going to actually this way. So again, same sport band that Apple has been selling since the beginning of the Apple Watch. As you can see, it is quite a bit lighter than the case, but I don't think it looks horrible. Still do think that that cypress green would look a little better, but it's not a huge clash. It's green on green, so I think it looks pretty nice. And now let's take a look at the rest of the contents of our main box. So obviously absent is the 5-watt wall adapter, and we just have the charging puck, which on aluminum models is going to be fully plastic. It is a USB-C. I believe that started with Series 6 rather than USB-A. Oh wait, this is aluminum, not plastic. I'm not sure when that change was made, but that is pretty cool. And then I'm sure on stainless steel models and such it would still be stainless steel ring. Still no Apple stickers with the Apple Watch, but looks like I think they've gotten rid of one of the papers that used to come with it. So yeah, a lot more environmentally friendly than Series 5 unboxing was, and maybe even the Series 6. Alright, so now our watch has finished setting up and we can take a look at some of the new features in detail. So this is the face it gave me, but let's go ahead and see all of the new ones that are going to be exclusive on Series 7. I think there's just 2 or 3 of them. The first one is Contour, and this is really going to show off the larger screen. As we turn the digital crown, the numbers get emphasized. The screen is much bigger. You kind of have to see it in person. It's kind of one of those things. It's kind of interesting how they put the little indicator not in the center on this one. I don't know that I've really seen that before. Alright, and then the other new watch face we're going to have is the Modular Duo. Going to add this one in. Before we had the modular face, which can fit quite a bit of information on the screen. But you can see you just have room for one large complication and then 3 small ones. This one is going to be able to fit 2 full-size ones. So for example, you could have like your moon phases and also maybe your weather. Still, the modular face can fit more complications on it, but the Modular Duo potentially could fit more information. I'm not seeing the date on Modular Duo at the top there, so I'm wondering if that can be added. It actually can't, interestingly. So those were the 2 new watch faces, which were Contour and Modular Duo. There's also new in watchOS 8 is going to be the world clock and then the portrait face, but those are available on all models. Actually, portrait I think is Series 4 and later, if I'm not mistaken. I know a lot of people were kind of somewhat disappointed when there wasn't really a full redesign. I mean, this is just kind of a larger screen and there's a couple of things different about it, but a lot of us were expecting for it to match the latest iPhones, having the squared off edges and such, but honestly I'm kind of part of the opinion that I wouldn't really like that on a watch. I think it kind of sounds like it'd be a good idea in our heads, but it wouldn't really look as good as we think it would, and I honestly think it would just dig into your wrist and not be very comfortable to wear. So I'm kind of glad they kept the rounded look. You can see, can fit plenty of text on the screen. Maybe already it was feeling a little snappier than my Series 5, even though it's only a 20% increase. But let's go ahead and take a look at our new full-size Qwerty keyboard. Going to create a message. You can see by default it shows up with a Qwerty keyboard, which is still pretty small even on the 45mm, but I do believe it's coming to both 41 and 45mm. Interestingly, if it's coming to 41mm, and that actually has just about the same size, I think it's even a little smaller than the 44mm of the previous generations. There's no reason why the 44mm at least shouldn't be able to have it either, but obviously Apple's just got to give people enough reasons to upgrade. And there were keyboard apps previously that you could download. Yeah, it definitely looks a little different. Actually, for some reason it looks larger on the Series 5 than it does. Look at that. It's kind of interesting. The new Apple Watch has Quick Path, so at least that's something you're not going to be able to get on any other previous models. And yeah, everything just looks slightly larger. Let's look at our home page. We're just going to compare different areas of the interface so you can see the size increase. You can see here, not too big of a difference, but I feel like the icons are a little more spaced out on Series 7. And let's go ahead into our settings, text size. Yeah, that's weird. I'm not seeing the larger text sizes that were mentioned. It could just be that it's larger by default or whatnot, who knows. Let's take a look at just some of the other areas of the interface. So you can see this is what the activity rings will look like, again much larger. Let's go into our control center. So you can't fit any more information on the screen really here, but again everything just feels more comfortable and spread out than before. So I think that's definitely nice. It's going to be easier to use for people. Alright, so one of the things that I have yet to try out actually is the blood oxygen app, since I skipped over Series 6. And I actually wasn't planning on upgrading from my Series 5 this soon, but I kind of had the unpopular opinion that I really was intrigued by the Series 7 and wanted to go ahead and upgrade this year. So you do actually have to make sure that your watch is actually on a little tighter for this to work properly. So let's go ahead and start measuring here. Alright, so 96, I think 95 or above is the ideal range. So that's pretty easy now that we can do that on our watch. Of course, we still have ECG, which I can't use because I'm under the age of 22. So in terms of new features on the Series 7, there's not a whole lot to talk about. The always-on display is said to be even brighter than before, which the Series 6 was already brighter than the Series 5. So Series 6 was 2.5 times brighter than Series 5. Series 7 is now 70% brighter than Series 6. So do the math and figure it's over 3 times brighter than Series 5, because Series 5 always-on display was pretty dim, but now it's probably going to be pretty much just as bright as it is normally. And the display bezels are now reduced to 1.7 millimeters, whereas before they're probably about double that. So that equals about a 20% larger screen, but honestly it seems even larger than that. The trained eye will know when people have the Series 7, but for the vast majority of people they're not going to be able to tell the difference just by looking at someone who's wearing it. But I think it will make it a lot easier to use, and especially if you're coming from something older like a Series 3, it's going to be 50% larger. So the Series 4 was 30% larger than the 3, and now the 7 is 20% larger than the 6. Going from the 3 to 4 was probably a more significant difference, as the screen area on the 40mm Series 4 was actually larger than the 42mm Series 3. Although when you take into account the rounded corners, it probably would have been slightly less. But still, we've got a similar thing going on here. So the 41mm is about the same size as the 44mm. It is a little smaller, but the 45mm is absolutely massive. It has 1143 square millimeters of screen area, which is the first time it's over 1,000, and it's well over that. So yeah, I'm just going to make sure I'm not missing anything here. I think we've pretty much covered it all. But just to recap, let's say you're coming from a Series 5, you're going to have obviously a larger display with optimized user interface. You can fit more text on the screen, you have a full keyboard, and you have brighter always-on display than Series 5 and 6. You have faster charging than Series 5 and 6. Blood oxygen sensor if you're coming from a Series 5. And 20% faster processor. And then let's quickly talk about the new finishes. So we've got 5 aluminum finishes now, which are Moonlight, Starlight, New Green, and then the blue and red, product red, remain unchanged. So we've got just the 3 new ones. And then still the same stainless steel and titanium options. And then don't forget, this is the most durable Apple Watch ever with the most crack resistant front crystal, and IP6X dust rating. Alright, I really hope I have covered everything about the Apple Watch Series 7, but if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I will be more than happy to answer them. But for now, I'm gonna go play with my new watch. Stay tuned for the next video, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.